Windblade! Be gone!
The hunt is on. This'll pack a punch.
No escape! Chivalry will... Fate.
Where to this time?
Let it rain. Prepare to be blown away.
Anfang's Ironmongers, here to serve.
Add Astra. Add Astra. Thank you for completing today's commission.
Come take a look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
Traveler, please, over here. It has been a while since you joined the Adventurers Guild. Are your adventures going smoothly? Is that so? Apart from your own skills, reliable teammates are also indispensable when adventuring. Another person to count on is always good after all. But recruiting such dependable companions is no easy matter, is it?
Yep, and it's even harder to get a guide as good as Paimon.
Ah, yes. I do have some information that may be of help to you. Let me consult our records. Ah, there it is. There's been a certain blonde stranger who arrived in Mondstadt lately, dressed in most unusual clothes.
Blonde. Dress is all funny. It feels like Paimon's heard this one before. Wait! Do you mean... Does that stranger's face look anything like hers?
Like the honorary knights? No, they couldn't look more different. This stranger is a very tall man, and even has an eye patch.
Seriously? How does this have anything to do with Kaya? Eye patches can't prove that you're related anyway.
That stranger declined the guild's invitation, so I can't say that I know anything about the relationship between him and Mr. Kaya. Nonetheless, you can look for him if you're interested. Perhaps he might accept your commission instead. After all, it is not uncommon for some adventurers to not want to be limited by the guild, but be happy to accept a fellow adventurer's requests. And should the stranger be a strong adventurer indeed, he would certainly be a big help on your journey. Please don't talk down on yourself like that. You are the honorary knight of the Knights of Favonius, after all. Your deeds are the stuff of song for all the bards in the city, even now. Well, as to further news about him, you may want to ask Mr. Lawrence. He stands guard at the city gate, so he may know something about that stranger. I wish you every success, adventurer.
Honorary knight is something a stranger with an eye patch. Let me think. Oh yeah, I remember seeing someone like that. A blonde stranger dressed in unusual garb. He was wandering all over Mondstadt at first, which I found rather suspicious. So I decided to keep an eye on him for a while. I lost him pretty quickly. Still, I didn't think that this was such a huge matter that we needed our outrider to pursue him by air. As long as Master Jean is here, there's nothing to fear from some suspicious, unusual-looking person.
That might be true, but if it...
That is true. But on the other hand, knowing that Master Jean may overreact to the situation is all the more reason to not tell her, no? Anyways, oh yeah, he was at Wagner's smithy for a while before I tried You should go ask him. Maybe he has more news about our...
If you ever want... If you ever want to trade tactics, I'm always ready.
What? You need something? Here, I remember him. He showed up a few days ago asking to buy a bunch of forging material. Can't say I've heard of any of the materials he mentioned, though. He then had a look at the weapons in my shop before leaving. I've heard if the Knights of the Guild want to get hold of him, that's the only place to be.
The Angel Share? Well, Master Diluc probably has his eye on that stranger too then. Anyway, let's go to the Angel Share and have a look.
What will it be? Grape juice or apple cider?
Hey, Charles! Have you seen a blonde stranger who wears an eye patch around here by any chance?
That I have. He comes here every night. Just a drink, though. Doesn't order anything. He even sometimes mixes his own drinks after he orders them. I don't know anything else about him, but from his selections and mixes, I'd say that he's quite the connoisseur.
And what's Master Diluc's...
Why, I just gave it to you.
Investigating everything as always. Guess that's Diluc for you.
If you're looking for that gentleman, he ordered some new bottle of wine in advance yesterday. There's too many raucous patrons on the first floor, so if you want to wait, best to go... Ah, welcome, sir. The wine that you previously ordered is here.
He's really here? Let's go downstairs and have a look.
I need to learn to handle my booze better. I can't give
had no intention of paying us any mind, huh?
A traveler, you say? Well, that's as good a reason as any. Sit down over there.
So, guess we've broken the ice.
That little one beside you.
That's not true, and you know it.
It's indeed a good thing to have someone accompany you on your travels. My name's Dainsleif. I suppose you have some Sure,
And he was so cold just a moment before.
but I will require advance payment. 500 mora. The 500 is a one-time fee, and we'll settle the questions in a moment. That's it.
Well, now Paimon's got a really bad feeling. That kind of compensation can't be right.
Ah, thank you. Now, as for my questions, I'd like you to answer them here and now. The answer to a question says nothing about right and wrong, only about differences in attitude. I only wish to know what your choices are. Question 1. The crisis Mondstadt faced was resolved by an alliance between yourself and that Animo Archon who calls himself Venti. Who, in your view, was the key to— I know everything that I Well, answer the question. Is that your answer? Question number 2. Rex Lapis, who has defended Liyue Harbor for millennia on end, used his gnosis to lay down a contract to end all contracts, of which the stipulations are still unknown. Who do you think will defend Liyue Harbor in the future, now that they've lost their deity? So that's your answer? Now for my This world has people who gained visions, and though which of the two do you think hold more importance in the eyes of the gods? So, this is— It seems that you're different from him. I'll take that 500 mora. And now I also understand your views on this world. As that said, I only take commissions related to the Abyss Order. Like you, I am currently on a journey. You intend to find your sibling, while I wish to oppose the Abyss. Ugh. Those creatures that serve the Abyss are the fangs and claws by which the Order spreads chaos in this world. I have come to Mondstadt this time while on the trail of an Abyss Herald.
An Abyss Herald?
An even more twisted abyssal being, one that commands the Abyss Mages.
Oh, that's right! We've just been fighting against the Fatui and Liyue, who are— We haven't encountered the non-human Abyss Order at all!
There's some reason behind that, I'm afraid. It's possible that they may have been under orders to avoid your path.
Oh, that does sound pretty dangerous. Maybe they're looking for a better time. Uh-huh! We're super-duper strong!
That manner, it's just like his. Well then, let's go see for ourselves, shall we? According to the leads I have on hand, the Abyss Order has re-infiltrated the Temple of the Falcon. Let's meet up at the temple. Perhaps your questions about the Abyss will— This abandoned temple does bear some marks of the Abyss, the Falcon of the West. Though it can soar in the wind, it ultimately does naught but hover under the light of the gods. Oh, it's nothing. The scent of the abyss is getting stronger. It's not far now.
Paimon wonders what the Abyss Heralds look like. Do they look something like the Abyss Mages?
Let's head further in first. If we do see that creature, that'll spare me the explanation either way.
Let it rain! Windblade! Prepare to be blown away!
To ashes!
Be gone!
This is a new one. Got something for you.
No escape! Yeah!
You're stuck now.
Windblade!
Just a few abyss mages? Seems like that herald might have already left. The abyss. It is chaos, and it is also destruction. That is why even the Dragon of the East, a servant of a deity, was unable to resist its corrosive powers. And the creatures of the abyss desire nothing less than the overthrow of a world ruled by the Archon.
You seem to know a lot about the Abyss, Dane.
Well, we do have some history. I suppose that's as far as chit-chat goes. We should head. Judging by the traces I'm following, their next appearance may be within the territory of that old wolf. Perhaps we may find our Abyss Herald there.
Wolfendom now. Think Dean's waiting for us up ahead? We should meet up with him quick, in case the wolves decide they don't like him.
Lord of Wolvendom, sharp of fang and keen of claw. And yet dwelling here... No, nor does it know me. I only know these things because a previous traveling companion of mine once wanted to hear its story. All right, let's go see if that Abyss Herald has stopped by here.
But where do we begin? Are you standing?
Indeed. See that? Floating above the flames? It's an abyssal spell. Knowing what I do of the Order's habits, they've probably left similar marks behind elsewhere. Let's have a look nearby.
Wow! These will come.
Do you think that those monsters by the bonfire are under the Abyss Order's control? Looks kinda scary. Let's beat them up first.
Prepare to be blown away! Windblade! Power that ended Lifestyle!
Whew, that's that! Let's go. Looks like this bonfire's also got something to do with the Abyss.
Let it rain! Be gone! Windblade! An answer from this world?
And there's another one of those bonfire spells! Looks like the abyss Yikes! Where did these monsters pop out from? Let's clear them out, and quick!
Prepare to be blown away! Hey!
This is a new one. Ever seen one of these?
Have you finished searching? I searched around these parts and found some signs, but they were left behind by abyss mages. And there was no deeper. It seems that even an abyss herald would not wish to make trouble with the Wolf King of the North. We should leave as well. If there's anything praiseworthy about that old wolf, it's his territorial nature.
But now we're out of leads! Are we—
No. There is. Let's get a move on then. I've heard about what happened to you during Mondstadt's crisis, but I suppose that this place is more lair. In fact, if my memory serves, this ruin has had largely nothing to do with that. The first time I laid eyes upon the ruins of old Mondstadt, the Dragon of the East had yet to fall.
Huh? But Paimon remembers that Dvalin first got in trouble hundreds of years ago.
Don't think too much about it. Do you remember the light actuators that once sealed this ruin? If the Abyss Order is interested in this location, then they will not neglect those mechanisms. Let's go see what the situation is at those light actuators.
Look! There are lots of monsters gathered over there. Oh, how exciting!
on!
Windblade!
Got something for you.
As a dutiful maid would, I must leave no stone unturned.
Prepare to be blown away!
This is not the end.
Ever seen one of these?
Steady as stone. Leave it all to me. I must leave no stone unturned.
Back off!
Windblade!
Power that ended Haishan!
Be gone!
You're stuck now! This'll pack a punch.
Steady as stone. I must leave no stone unturned, as a good knight should. Windblade! Oh, so in the end, we still...
I wouldn't call not having to gaze upon such a creature a shame exactly. Still, I do believe that you will come across.
No, you're right. If it's really
How good it would be if all perils one encounters in their journeys could simply be solved by going around them. Once upon a time, yes. I simply have experience from adventuring together with that traveling companion.
You know, Dane, you keep talking about that person this and that person that. Where are they now, anyway?
He no longer travels. I'm afraid that traveling can be too exhausting at times.
Oh, is that how it is? Well, why are you traveling alone then?
I still have some things left unfinished. Once they are done, I too will return home to rest.
Yep, and it's good to have a home to come back to, isn't it? We camp out a lot when we travel. Hey, once you find your sibling, we should find a place to stay too, shouldn't we? Mondstadt's Fisherman's Toast is pretty tasty, but Liyue's Wanmin restaurant is great too. Either way, We should settle down in a place where there's good
Home. Well, it won't be too late to think about where you stay once your journey reaches its end. While you're still traveling, you should...
Huh? What's familiar?
A familiar feeling, you say? It could be someone... Whichever it is, we should see it for ourselves, and thus see clearly. We can reach the top of that cliff from over there. Let's go.
Whoa, Dane moves really fast, doesn't he? Let's use that wind current nearby to catch up.
Can you still sense that familiar feeling that you spoke of earlier?
But it doesn't feel like there's anything around here.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything strange about this place. It doesn't look any different from the last time. My traveling companion brought me here on our
So, Dane, what about you? What's your favorite place?
Me? I merely followed my traveling companion around on that journey. That's all there was to it. Huh? A ruin guard's footprint. A ruin guard was wandering around here? No peace to be found, even for a single dandelion.
What's gotten into you? You were just spacing out. Huh? You mean you're... But how could that be? You only touched that
Perhaps that dandelion bears some sort of scent that only you recognize. As for why, has it perhaps experienced something related to you?
You're saying some real
Do not rush. Vexation and anxiety are the enemy of rational thought. Your journey has only just begun, has it not? At least you now know that he is still on this world. At this time, the most important thing is the journey to find him itself. Yes, and this is something you must keep in mind as the meaning behind your journey. May you find your kin at the end of that journey. Well then, let us part ways here for now.
Huh? You're leaving?
Only for now. Don't worry. After all, I did take 500 mora and those 3 ants.
If you ever want to trade tactics, I'm always ready. Welcome. How can I help you?
Try something new at the Wanmin restaurant.
I save this.
Deep and tasty chop suey. Tasty chop suey.
Let me tell you.
Children, come, come.
Oh, what is it, Granny?
Oh, no. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
A gift? For Paimon?
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do. Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world. The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using...
So, in the eyes of an Adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just chat.
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of troop. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that
That's right! Finding stuff's...
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding...
Well, since you're an Adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an Adeptus too.
Yes. I suppose she does count as an Adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yen Fei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yen Fei, I believe you've already heard of the traveler and her traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm I'm Yenfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention.
All right, Yenfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think you'll have to excuse Yenfei. She's always been like this, ever the
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor?
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of the stuff you asked for, except for Smaragdus Jadeite. I couldn't find any at all. The chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure any documentation either. Looks like the Ministry of Civil Affairs is serious about keeping it strictly locked down.
Is that so? Yenfei, are you sure you can't find some other way?
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there?
commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya Krusel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya. So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find— Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
Wow, an Adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be—
Hello, Mr. Cross.
Oh, good, very good. All things.
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time—
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, in the end I did acquire a small piece of Miss Yanfei. Might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize, I've already rented them out to a lady named Chiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some—
Wait, isn't Smaragdus Jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hair—
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Chiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus Jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Chiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these—
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Chiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off.
no. Whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from... My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us...
The hairpins? I can't lend them to you right now. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value... My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this. That's what the hairpins were for, to keep. But now that I've lost the hairpins...
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of...
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but...
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Monsieur Chow.
Huh? Well, I mean, sure.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must... Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount...
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Jichou looks...
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to...
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be...
See...
Please. Please, however much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our... Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossell in the dark any longer.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. So hold on a moment, Monsieur Chow. When you first touched the hairpins...
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly... My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch. Fine. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossell's.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jichao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? I trust you're quite satisfied with them?
About that.
You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
I'm sorry. Truly I am.
Mora! Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that smoke? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. It was in fact genuine Smaragdus Jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course! Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find some...
Why do they have to pay that transfer?
Adventurer's Guild. You'll
Miss Yunfei, what is this about? Are you here to...
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the Orin laid on those hairpins may...
What do you mean? Are you in...
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just say I made some I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your
No, not at all. I felt perfect.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossel's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have this.
If that's the case, we should go confront him.
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. And then he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of...
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems...
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow.
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain...
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, anywhere commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be...
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this map...
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. And I'll also need your signatures on pages...
This contract has so many pages!
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look.
I've had a read through.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve. Once we've got some things... I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case...
Miss Yunfei, I have to ask...
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying... Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow... Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their... But again, let's not dwell on this. I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. If Mr. Crossell had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have...
Why, hello... Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnyan merchant named Crossell enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnyan merchant named Crossell. I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus jadeite or not. But he was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have an...
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a...
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shaving. Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though...
A thin layer of separation!
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus...
Is that so? Well, So, did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao is able to...
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up.
But never mind, Shirto.
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them.
What should I try?
Miss Yenfei.
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought...
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing...
Of course.
Oh, I have my reasons. Yes. Please, this document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your...
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yenfei, but might I know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident. Just,
With this hard evidence to back us up?
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Aha! Got it! Singxi.
Well, that was quick.
Because lots of people come to me for... As you know, Liyue Harbor is this... But the amendments made by the Tianxue... As such...
So you help...
Yes, well...
You...
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out... Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just...
Again, with that casual...
Well, that's that then.
The key here is consumer psychology.
Oh, Miss Yenfei, it's you.
Have no further trouble from then on? Yeah, has a merchant by the name of Crossell asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Crossell. The design of the hairpins that he gave this order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Singxi, I'd like for you to
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Crossell wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has...
Thank you, Singxi. Now, could you let me borrow the...
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that...
Nothing you need to worry about, just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What?
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the human body. Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands...
Jurors Guild.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though and if it isn't Miss Yenfei as well. Now that's an even rarer honor. What business?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it, the 7 mountain treatises states that this substance springs forth from it is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality and their illness will only... Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to...
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind...
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago. But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if you...
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baizhu. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
You're too kind. Take care now.
That Baizhu guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baizhu's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossell.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot... I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore...
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus jadeite and Smaragdus nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I...
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated.
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him.
Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed...
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either.
You know, you could be right.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown...
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed, Traveler. Would you do the honors?
What's this?
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic... Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed. I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient considering that, as you say, don't worry, Mr. Crossell, I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be... I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigation.
What? Wait! I knew.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear, Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus Jadeite...
Huh? No, I...
aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus Jadeite? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow... Mr. Crossell, your answer, please.
Yep, he's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel... I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But that's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite. I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Jiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
Exactly! If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then...
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow
faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow...
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite!
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have... Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear...
Ms. Jiqiao...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite...
What? But all right, then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Miss Yunfei, I'll turn this Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yunfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony.
Well
then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further...
Is that so?
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and...
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. But this time, even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more efficient solution. An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's been on tenterhooks for a while now. Prepare to be blown away!
returned. Good, good.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton.
Oh, you. All right then. Go see to your business. Granny should.
I'm off then. Bye. Oh, yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly. Right?
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot, hmm?
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Indeed she is. Liyue has changed, and the Adepti must... Yanfei might be overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately acquainted with the city among us all. Liyue is not the same. All right, then. Let us speak of this no more. Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh, Paimon's so excited!
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a moment. There we go. This Serenity Pot is all yours now. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop, take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them.
Wait a minute, Granny.
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little...
Seems that we have a...
It's a huge finch!
Excuse me, I am not a finch. I am a teapot spirit. Hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be? Oh, call me. I suppose you may call me Tubby.
So you're the little helper Madam Ping mentioned?
Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much about you. You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me. Your journey may be far from over, but at least though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do not have the time of day to attend to the banal matter of their maintenance. Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage their affairs. You may consider me a butler if you... Now, allow me to explain this realm to you. Have you any blueprints on you? Specifically, as long as you have a blueprint, you can refashion this realm however you please.
Blueprints? Oh, that's right! Granny handed us some when she gave us the...
Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about. Just commit the image of the objects to memory and prepare the necessary materials. Then simply release the thought from your mind and the object in the blueprint shall appear within this teapot.
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city inside, couldn't we?
I doubt it. A golden-eyed Adeptus explained this to me at some point. He said that even though subspace creation is a product of adeptal power,
even this world is not a true one, after all. It provides merely a moment of brief respite from the mortal realm, not a means of escaping it entirely.
A golden-eyed adeptus?
I hardly remember myself. What's more, I have never seen... Well, let's not dwell on that. Have a look around. Best you get accustomed if there's anything you would like to add. Maybe you're not used to the place at the moment, but once you've if you ever have Maybe you're not. If you ever have it.